Black Ops 7 has just been revealed to the world, and it looks like the narrative, story, and just general direction of this game is going to be a pretty large breakaway from what we've seen in Call of Duty of the past. Now, Black Ops 7 is set in 2035, immediately after the events of Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 6, with cutting-edge technology in hand, robots, drones, you name it, going to combat over a future war. Black Ops 7 is going to feature near-future weaponry in its multiplayer mode, brand new maps, a new round-based zombies experience that is exclusively, by the sounds of it, taking part in the Dark Aether, and of course a co-op campaign, which is one of the things we haven't seen for a while. But what this all means for Call of Duty, what this all means for Warzone, what this all means for the entirety, really, of Black Ops 7, is a gigantic question mark. And if you watch the reveal trailer, quite frankly, you would be surprised if the first minute and a half was even a Call of Duty trailer. Now, I think you can learn a lot about Call of Duty's intentions with Black Ops 7 just off the synopsis of the game itself, but also just what they showed off in this trailer. It seems to me that Call of Duty is extremely aware that moving directly to Black Ops 7 immediately after Black Ops 6 is a hard sell. And it was a hard sell to do the same from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3. So in order to overcome that hurdle, they need to make this game feel distinctly different, and it looks like they're going pretty much full send in a direction that I feel could be mildly controversial. So we're talking near-future weaponry, we've seen active cloaking in the trailer, we've seen robots, drones, all of the kind of futuristic, near-future weaponry that you would come to expect from something like the Black Ops franchise, and lots of references, of course, towards Black Ops 2, which had the first part of its story in 1986 to 1989, and the second part of its story set in 2025. And in a similar vein, Black Ops 6's campaign hypothetically was more of a historical thing, and Black Ops 7 is immediately following after in the near future. The actual synopsis says that the year is 2035 and on the brink of chaos ravaged by conflict, psychological warfare following the Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 6 events with cutting technology in hand. A Black Ops team led by David Mason must fight back against a manipulative enemy who weaponizes fear above all else. Now, I think the ultimate goal here for Call of Duty is to make Black Ops 7 feel discernibly different from Black Ops 6, and at the very end of this, you actually get to see snippets of gameplay. Some of this is quite interesting. We're talking about a multiplayer map which seemingly has gigantic swords and floating islands in it, and then we're talking about seeing Avalon with 4 people gliding in, and we're unconfirmed at this moment in time if that's campaign or Warzone. And then of course we have a zombies element which seems to have some kind of transit system featuring the bus from the original transit back in the day, or at least at the bare minimum a reference to it. So they're trying to aim for all of the right spots and things that people would expect for Black Ops, but I honestly think the only solution for Call of Duty to make this game sell and make it feel different from Black Ops 6 is to kind of go off the deep end with it. Whether or not this is a gamble that will be successful, I don't really know. Ultimately, by the sounds of things, they will be falling back to Modern Warfare 4 next year anyway, and can kind of use that as their grounded alternative to Black Ops, so why not go a little bit crazy? The largest question mark surrounding Black Ops 7 is going to be the core mechanics of the game and what it brings to multiplayer in Warzone, as naturally these are some of the largest parts of the game. Zombies fans, I'm sure, will be fairly happy with going into the Dark Aether and seemingly getting some kind of transit system. The first big question mark is Omni Movement. Now, Omni Movement I actually think had a great reception at the beginning, that's slowly staled out and has become something that's almost been a source of resentment for a more casual audience for the game, who don't feel as in touch with Omni Movement. Now, I will be personally honest, I absolutely love it. The ability to slide sideways and backwards has honestly completely revolutionized the way I play Call of Duty, and when I play games where I can't do that, it actually feels mildly clunky by comparison. So it's a big win for me personally, but I know it's a very Marmite topic where some people really fall on the other side of the fence and don't enjoy it. But whether or not we see this go into Black Ops 7 at all is the first question mark. And based on the near-futuristic setting, it looks like there could be even more options for traversal. There's been the alleged rumors of wall running coming to the game, which has been something that has been hinted at in data files seen in Warzone. So could we see wall running? Could we see some sort of jetpack-style mobility system coming to the game in a near-futuristic setting? These are all gigantic big question marks surrounding Black Ops 7. But based on what we've seen data mined from Warzone, it genuinely isn't a far cry that the next Black Ops 7 features wall running, features more mobility on top of Omni movement, and aims to effectively replicate what Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare used to do back in the day. And I really feel like the logical conclusion to this is just that Call of Duty knows they've got Modern Warfare 4 next year. They know they've got a boots on the ground experience, they know they've got something that's a bit more grounded and in touch with reality that people might resonate with more. So why not use this as an opportunity for Black Ops 7 to be radically different from what Modern Warfare 4 is going to feature? They're going to create almost a divide, really, a difference maker. You know, two very different games that allows both of them to kind of stand alone uniquely, and I feel like it's a good, unique, creative opportunity to not only test the audience sentiment towards something like a jetpack feature, but also just take some risks this year, because why not? Now, the trailer featured a lot about reality breaking and embracing this sort of madness, and I genuinely don't think that's something that is only going to be confined to the campaign. Like I say, Call of Duty kind of has a hard job at making a discernible difference between Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to kind of go off the deep end. And I genuinely believe that their solution for this is to introduce some sort of reality breaking map style in multiplayer. Now, you can see from one of the maps that was seemingly teased in the background, this could be from the campaign, but it looked a lot like a multiplayer map. We've got gigantic swords flying into the map. We've got, you know, these random little levitating islands. I genuinely would not be shocked if they took the campaign narrative element of people having, like, you know, brainwashing experiences and reality bending experiences that they had in Black Ops 2 and shoved it into the multiplayer and said, look, these are maps that take place when reality is broken. These are the maps that take place when reality is normal. Almost like a narrative split down the middle between the two types of maps that will allow them to create things that feel a little less grounded and a little less military, and perhaps blend into just being a little bit more interesting and less congested. The one big question mark around this for me is that all of these, you know, gigantic swords and floating islands did raise the question of, well, is this genuinely an attempt at bringing back wall running and jetpack-based gameplay? Could these be things that are accessible through a new traversal system? All of these felt like big question marks, but honestly, I think that's what they're leaning towards. I think you're going to see a very large divide between regular ground-based gameplay that they want to feel military and non-regular sort of circa 1980s, everybody's going crazy trip kind of gameplay where reality is completely thrown out the window. I think that's what they're going to lean towards. I think that's what they're going to go for. And I think it's something that's going to make Black Ops 7 feel bespokely quite different from Black Ops 6, which I think is something that's kind of the core focus of this development team. The reality is, following up 6 with 7 immediately after 1 year is already a tough sale. So when the game is massively different, set in a different setting, has these new features like reality bending that just act differently, it allows them to differentiate the game and create their own narrative and make it feel bespokely different as well. And I genuinely feel as though you're going to see that in the multiplayer, and quite possibly you could even see that in Warzone. Speaking of Warzone, what the hell is going on with Avalon? Now, leakers in the past have alluded that Avalon was effectively sacked up as a map and was moved towards campaign and moved towards co-op mission making. And in the trailer, we did see the Avalon from Black Ops 6, which is obviously where all of the multiplayer maps taken place, and you can see the fly-through of Avalon on my channel at this moment in time. We saw it again, and it has visually changed and aesthetically changed, but we just don't know whether this is a question mark for Warzone or if this is a question mark for Black Ops 7. Now, Warzone isn't going anywhere. I don't think they're going to replace it with something like Blackout 2 or anything like that, especially when Modern Warfare 4 is on the horizon and Warzone has been such a large player-based staple for them. But at the same time, there have been some concerns and rumors that Call of Duty Warzone is only capable of supporting a single map, large map at least in terms of Verdansk, and isn't capable of rotating them due to hardware limitations on Xbox One and PS4, which, by the way, Black Ops 7 will continue to support. Now, a fellow content creator of mine, Geeky Pastimes, did allude to the fact that it looked like they showed campaign, then multiplayer, then Warzone, then zombies, and the Warzone clip being Avalon. But we honestly just don't know at this point. It sounded as though Avalon has been thrown into the fire and thrown into the backseat. It would not shock me if those 4 people flying in were in fact a co-op mission from the campaign that now allegedly does take place on that map. But we really just can't tell, and we don't know until we get some more official information on this I think it would be a colossal shame if we moved into a new era of Black Ops 7 and we get Warzone once again left behind in this sort of weird limbo of, is Warzone its own standalone product? Is it not? Is it going to get another map in big rotation? Is it not? It just feels like there's a lot of questions and a lot of loose ends surrounding Warzone right now, and it feels like Black Ops 7 and then shifting to Modern Warfare 4 the year after is actually going to pose a lot of existential questions for Warzone. I don't think Modern Warfare 4 is going to have Omni movement, and I don't think it's going to feel how the current iteration of Warzone feels right now. And if it is radically different, and Black Ops 7 is radically different from Black Ops 6, what's the direction here? Where is Warzone going to go? What is it going to latch onto? What features are staying? What features are leaving? This is probably the most confusing time for Warzone we've ever seen. The only guaranteed staple is that they probably won't remove Verdansk anytime soon, but that doesn't solve anything, and in fact, in many ways it creates even more problems because Verdansk is becoming already somewhat stale to people who have been playing it for a long time. So the question marks are all here. You know, is Avalon going to come to Warzone, or is it part of the campaign? Was Avalon ever intended to be in Warzone? How is Black Ops 7 going to feel different from Black Ops 6? And if it is different, how is that going to translate to Warzone? And the only people who really have any certainty as to how this game is going to function at all are the guys who are playing zombies, because by the looks of things, they're going knee-deep into the Dark Aether, which is actually very exciting, and seemingly bringing back the transit system, or something that feels like a spiritual successor to the transit system, which I think many of them will be very excited about. As for me, I'm really on the fence. This entire game is pretty much the devil in the details. It really feels as though Call of Duty's solution to making this game feel different from Black Ops 6 is just to full send into a crazy direction, and it is a massive gamble. It could pay off really well, and it could, you know, invigorate some kind of color, feeling, some life, some new movement into the system, or it could completely backfire and alienate players who wanted something a little bit more grounded, and at that point, the next Battlefield title will be very much on the horizon. So we're almost seeing a rift in the FPS space here. We've got Black Ops 7 going knee-deep off the deep end with some sort of reality-bending gameplay, and then we've got the upcoming impending release of Black Ops 6, where all of the leaks so far allude to a Battlefield 3/Battlefield 4 grounded military experience. So, two very different things going on, a lot going on in the industry this year, and honestly, the biggest question mark for me now is what in the hell is going to happen to Call of Duty Warzone? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below, folks, and I will catch you again in the next one.